Okay, so we're gonna actually start standing. Let me just see, I've got this so you can see me. So we're gonna start standing and you're gonna come against your wall. And we're gonna do some nice shoulder opening stuff to start. So this is like called angel wings. So if you've ever been in a snowy area and you make those angels, we're doing that. But what we wanna try to do is keep the backs of the shoulders and the hands and the elbows on the mat. Not on the mat, on the floor, on the wall. Oh my goodness. I'm not used to saying the wall. So taking your arms and your hands, and you might feel that you kind of get that sensation when you try to press the backs of the hands on the wall. And then you're just going to slowly kind of bring the arms up. So you're essentially doing this kind of motion. Now your fingertips might not be able to come together because the elbows might come off the mat. And then when you come down, what I want you to do is squeeze the backs of the shoulder blades together. Okay, so it's not about just kind of slamming the elbows down. I want you to squeeze the backs of the shoulders, almost like you're doing one of those overhead pull downs, okay, if you were at the gym. So just slowly feel into the limitations, okay? And you might start to get like a little bit of a burning sensation. So squeezing. You're squeezing the lats. I think it's called a lat pull down actually. Squeezing down and then lifting up, but trying to glide across that wall. Nice. So just do about 10 more. If the arms are burning, you can take them down, give them a little shake. And remember that you don't have to go all the way. Okay, just go to your range. You might get the burning sensation around the rotator cuff because you're asking those muscles to work pretty hard. You're against gravity. Nice. Just do 5 more. Use the breath, inhaling up and exhaling, pulling down. And if you want to train the navel as well, you can slightly draw the navel in. Nothing crazy, but just so that you're keeping everything contained. Good, do 2 more. We'll go straight into a shoulder stretch after this because it's a lot of strength, this mobility work. Nice, good. Let the arms come down. And what we're gonna do, I'll show you from behind, you're gonna bring your arm parallel to the floor along the wall, okay? Spread the fingers. Now, parallel is the hardest. If this is too intense, you can slide your hand down. Now from here, once you're at that position, you're gonna start to turn your chest away from the wall. Okay, so your arms on the wall, and then you're just turning your chest away from the wall. Now, if you're getting lots of pins and needles in the hand and down the forearm, take that arm further down the wall rather than parallel. And then once you're there, you're just gonna breathe. Okay, so trying to keep that whole arm flush against the wall and just gently pulling the chest away. You can turn from the hips as well. This will help to kind of rotate the body. We'll just stay for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice turn. So you're kind of square to the wall. And then we're just going to come up, over, and forwards. And then we're going to go all the way back. Wow. Maybe taking that arm a little bit further to the floor. So I'll just show you from this side. So you're going up and over. Just kind of feeling into that mobility. And again, kind of the further that you turn away from the wall, the more intense it's going to be. So you want to start kind of close, chest towards the wall. And then as you go, you can play around with turning away and feeling into that stretch a little bit more. Take 2 more. It's also good because you're dusting off your wall. Nice. Cool. And then you're just basically going to turn and we're going to do the same thing. So you might be turned away from the camera, but again, you're going to take that arm parallel to the floor. That's the goal. But if you feel a lot tighter on this side, you can take the arm further down. And then once you're there, you just start to turn the chest away from the wall. And again, you can pivot the hips. This will help to rotate the body. If you find yourself quite stuck, like, oh, I can't get my chest away. Spread the fingers. It's not uncommon. I know for me, because I've got really tight shoulders, I feel this in my wrist, my fingers, and my forearm. And I don't so much feel it around the shoulder joint. And that is totally fine. This is all referral stuff. You've got loads of nerves and things going down the arm. And you can have a lot of tightness in that forearm. Remember, all of this connects. And you're opening up that shoulder, especially into the area that the pec and the bicep meet. That's that thin line of muscle across that front part of the shoulder, and it's really exposed. There's not a lot of meat there. Nice. And then from here again, just starting those little waves up and over. And again, you can start with the chest turned quite close to the wall. And as you go, you can start to pivot again, finding that stretch, finding that opening. And notice if there's any kind of crunchy bits. Notice if there's any tight bits. Just breathing through it. Do 2 more. Good. Okay. So you're going to turn to face the wall now. And we are going to do an easier version of that hangman. So hangman's where the arms are up, and we've done this before with the belly on the mat and your arms are above your head. We're going to do this standing. And the more that you let your chest kind of droop down towards the floor, the more intense it will be. So we're going to kind of create a right angle with the body. So stepping the legs away and then letting the arms kind of reach up slightly. And then just start to let your chest drop down. So the more that the chest drops down, the more that you get that stretch. Spread the fingers. If you want more, try to keep the chest heavy and maybe walk the hands up a little bit higher. Just finding that sensation. And try to get your feet directly under your hips. So you might look at your feet right now and they might be far away. See if you can step them in a little bit more. You might notice that changes the sensation of the stretch as well. Nice. And we're going to stay here for about another 30 seconds. Breathe through it. Good. And then slowly just start to walk the hands up. Draw the navel in to support the back as you walk yourself up, 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 up. Nice. And then just take the hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. Let's just open up the chest, drawing those knuckles down, lifting through the front of the sternum, taking that high. Maybe chin lifts up, maybe it doesn't. Just staying for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Releasing the arms. So we're going to let the shoulders have a little break. They're going to get to hang out in space, and we're going to open up our hamstrings. So we're going to do ragdoll, but we're going to try to keep our butt connected to the wall. So take the feet a little bit further away from the wall to start. You can always get your butt off the wall as well. Start to bend the knees. As you bend the knees, your booty will make contact with the wall. And then fold forwards into your ragdoll. Now you can hold onto the elbows or you can let the hands come onto the mat. Now, if you are more open in the hamstrings, you walk the feet closer and lift the butt higher, but you want to keep that butt connected to the wall. Good. You can have a soft bend in those knees. And so this is going to be a 2-minute hold. We've kind of gone quickly through all of the other poses, and from now on, we're going to slow it down. So your arms might get tired at some point. You can let them drop. Find your breath. You've got 1 minute left. If you want to drop the arms, you can. Nice. Start to take the weight into the heels. Bend those knees, draw the navel in towards the spine and start to slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice. So once you're up to standing, I want you to double up your mat. Okay, so you're going to fold your mat twice. And we are going to start to work the legs. So you're going to bring your tippy toes to connect to where the wall and the floor meet. Now you might need blocks for this. So if you want to grab your blocks, feel free to. They just might help support you a little bit. So once we're here, what I want you to do is take your left knee and put that into the wall. So your left shin is going up the wall. This is jackknife. It's quite an intense pose. We're going to hold it for 2 minutes on each side. So once the left knee is nestled into the corner of the wall and the floor, you're then going to start to shuffle your right foot forwards. Whew. So right foot, you're trying to get that right knee on top of your right ankle. And then you might grab your blocks. So you're going to feel this massively in your left thigh. This is rectus femoris. This is a deep quad opener. You're bringing that thigh into extension, that hip flexor into extension. Now, the lower that you are, the less intense this will be. The higher that you are, the more intense it will be. Perhaps one day, the target is to get the hands onto the knee and bring the head and the back towards the wall. If you're not there yet, hands stay on the blocks. Good. So we are going to hang out here for 2 minutes. Don't rush to the most extreme position. I'll let you know when a minute has passed. And if you want to come a little higher, you can. But I would try to find a point where it's going to be uncomfortable. Hopefully not on the knee, okay? So if the bone of the knee is uncomfortable, you need to pad up the floor a little bit more. I tend to find a doubled up mat is okay. But if that's too intense still, then do grab a cushion. But where you want to feel this is in this thigh. Keep breathing. You can let your head be heavy. Okay, you don't need to look at the screen at all. I'm not moving. So we're coming up to our first minute. If you want to take the hands higher, go for it. If you're quite happy where you are, then stay put. You can always take your hands onto the knee and maybe you can't hold for a whole minute there, but maybe you can hold for 10 seconds. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. So if you are right-handed, this side, which you maybe don't want to hear, is probably more flexible or less tight than the next side. If you're left-handed, this might be absolutely killing you. Our dominant side is the side that's the strongest, but also the strength means that often it's the tightest. So we're stretching the left leg. In about 20 seconds, we're going to switch to stretch the right. And you'll feel probably quite instantly the difference between the two legs. Okay, so to come out of this, you're going to take your hands onto the floor. So if you're using a block or if your hands are on your knee, and then the first thing that you're going to do is bring your right knee back onto the floor. And then you're going to slide left knee down. And just take a moment, sit on the heels, rest the back on the wall. I'm not going to give you very long. We're going to go straight to the other side. So you are going to bring your hands back onto the floor. And this time you're going to nestle your right knee into the wall, right shin comes up. And then when you're ready, I'm just trying to gear myself up. You're going to start to walk that left foot, oh my goodness, forwards. If it's way too intense, shuffle your right knee a little bit away from the wall. That'll just make the stretch a little bit less crazy. Just make sure that your knee isn't overshooting your ankle. And then again, if you want to use those blocks, grab them. And maybe just take a moment to feel into that leg. So those who are right-handed, just feeling into this. I think most of us are. Feeling that stretch. Notice where on the right thigh you feel it the most. It might be the most sort of up towards that hip, the very front part of the hip. That's the sort of start of that muscle. So just closing the eyes, breathing through it. So if you want to come higher, we're in our last minute now. You can bring your hands onto your knee, maybe easier on the first side than this side. See how you get on. If it's too much, okay, we don't want to be in pain. If it's too much, then you can bring the hands down. But if you feel okay, hands come onto that knee, lifting the back of the head and the shoulders. You're trying to get them to kind of glue or suction cup or connect to the wall. But that's the full expression of the pose. Good. Okay. Hands coming down off the knee, off the blocks. What you're going to do first is move your left knee back onto the floor. And then slide that right shin down, bringing your butt onto the heels. Just let the back come into the wall. Good. Those thighs, give them some love. They've just had a really big stretch. Nice. Okay, from here, you're going to flip your mat back out. Okay, so just bringing it all the way out in front of you. Now, there is no graceful way to come to the wall. This is my best kind of trick for it. So come off your mat just in front. Scooch your butt in the side of your body kind of as close to the floor, the wall as you can. Then you're going to drop back and swing the legs up the wall. Now, if your booty is really far away, there's kind of no other way than just slamming your triceps, the backs of the arms, into the floor and kind of wiggle, 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 wiggle. So nothing glamorous really about this at all. But eventually you kind of want to get your butt pushed into the corner of the wall and the floor. So as close as you possibly can. Don't worry if you can't get all the way there. And then from here, just point and flex the feet, just letting all that kind of blood rush towards those muscles that we were just working. And then maybe rolling those ankles a few times one way. And then the other way. Just feeling into them. Nice. And then rolling the toes out to the side. This is external rotation. So that femur bone is turning out in the hip. And then work the toes in. So this is internal rotation. And you might find that you feel quite limited. Try not to take the movement from the toes so much. Think more about the bone in the thigh turning in. And then move the bone in the thigh out. And just do a few of these. Really trying to take that movement from your big bone. This is the biggest bone in our body, our femur. Okay, big bad boy bone. If you've ever heard of anybody breaking their femur, that's quite a feat. Often only really happens with kind of extreme trauma, sometimes skiing or snowboarding accidents, car accidents. It's got to be a lot of impact to break that big bone. Nice. And then just let the toes kind of flop naturally. So you're neither pulling them in nor pulling them out. And you'll find that the legs naturally go into external rotation. Okay, so that's kind of the lazy place that the bone settles, is slight external rotation. And then from here, just take your hands onto your belly. Close your eyes. And we're just going to hang out here for a few minutes. After all that hard work of jackknife, you deserve a little break. So this is staff pose, legs up the wall. Lots of really great benefits to this posture. Stimulating our... I'm sorry if you can hear that. Somebody's just started to jackhammer outside the house. Very relaxing. Hopefully it's not as loud for you as it is for me. And just keeping the eyes closed, you're going to start to bend the knees. And what I'm going to do actually when I get you into this pose is I'm going to turn off the mic so you don't have to hear this. But you're going to start to slide the feet together, knees opening nice and wide, coming into reclined butterfly, so Supta Baddha Konasana. The nice thing is that gravity is going to drive those heels down. And so you're going to really get those hips opening. So we're going to stay here for about 3 minutes, just opening up. Just going to turn my mic off so that you don't have to hear that horrific noise and that you can actually relax. If you want to deepen this a little bit, you can take your hands to kind of the insides of the knees or the thighs, and you can just start to gently press. And so you're just pushing the knee towards the wall. Doesn't have to be crazy, but if you want to apply quite a lot of pressure, then just work on straightening the arms without letting the shoulders creep up to the ears. So that'll just intensify the stretch, but you can continue for the last minute and a half, just letting the body settle. Just keeping the eyes closed, start to send your right leg up the wall. And then slowly start to send your left leg up the wall. And then again, just kind of moving those femur bones, the leg bones in the hips. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes if that feels good. Nice. Okay, from here, we're gonna come into a wide leg opening. So you're just gonna start to let your legs slide across the wall. Hopefully nothing's stopping your feet from opening. And then eventually the anatomy of your body will stop you. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna basically hang out. And I want you to focus on slowing your breath down, calming the nervous system. And as you hang out here, you're gonna notice that at weird points, your leg is just gonna kind of go whoop and drop a little bit. And what is happening is that those muscle spindles, those stretch reflexes, will just start to let go a little bit. When we first come into this, they kind of go, whoa, what are you doing? Stop that. And then we want to just tell the nervous system that you're calm and that you're safe. And you'll feel them let go as we hang out. If you want to, you can bring the arms over the head. Otherwise, you can keep the hands by the sides of the body or on the belly. And just literally let gravity do its magic. So this is going to be about a 4-minute hold. This is our longest hold this morning. If you want, you can visualize those ankle weights, the ones that kind of Velcro onto around the ankles and the wrists. If you imagine that you've got them on the ankles, then maybe you can help to coax the legs a little further open. 2 minutes left. So just gently start to bring the hands to the outside edges of your thighs. Your legs are going to feel pretty stiff and pretty weak. So just slowly start to bring them towards each other. It might feel nice to slightly bend the knees. And then just let the knees come down towards the chest. So just a nice knee to chest pose. Hands can come onto the knees, or you can let them just rest by your side. Feet on the wall. Tailbone might slightly lift. And then when you feel ready, just start to extend the legs up the wall again. And again, just pointing and flexing the toes. Nice. So we're going to come into a wall squat, which will give kind of the hamstrings a little break. So you're going to start to bend the knees and you're going to slide your feet down. Now, toes are kind of going out on an angle, the same direction as the knees. So we don't want the feet directly kind of at hips distance. We want them a bit wider, and the toes and the knees are going in the same direction out. Now, the further that the feet go down, the more intense this is going to be on those hips. So if it's too intense, just simply slide the feet up the wall. Again, if you want more, let the arms or the hands rest on the insides of the knees. But again, if you'd rather not go that intense, then just let the hands come on the belly or the floor. What's great about a wall squat is that we're targeting directly into the hips. We don't have the intensity of the ankles and the weight of the body, which is part of the reason why people can't hold squats for very long. So this is a nice alternative. Got about a minute and a half left here.
Okay, slowly start to like use the toes to climb the feet up the wall. Maybe with the knees still bent, just take little windshield wipes. You can let both knees flop out, then bring them in. Your hips are just going to be feeling a wee bit tight. Nice. And then from here, we're just going to have a little play with shoulder stand. I really love this pose. I feel like it's quite safe and you can feel quite strong in it. So what I want you to do is take your hands onto the floor beside you, palms face down, knees bent. And what you're going to do is press into your feet to lift your butt. Okay, so that's quite easy, lifting the butt. And then you're just going to keep pressing and shuffle the shoulders under you until the butt kind of comes over the shoulders. So pressing those feet into the wall, you should feel relatively stable. If you do not feel stable, if it does not feel good, don't hold the pose. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, I want you to keep your left foot on the wall and take your right leg off the mat. And you might even start to take that right leg over the head until the left foot suction cups off the wall and you can send it up to the sky. So you're kind of in an L shape with those legs. And then you're going to slowly start to bend that left knee again, bringing that left foot to the wall, right foot to the wall, push the feet into the wall, lift the hips. You're either just hanging out in this shoulder stand or you're going to play around with the other side. So coming onto the ball of the right foot, maybe starting to lift that left foot. You can take your hands onto your lower back as well. Maybe you can suction right foot off the wall. Maybe you can bring it up to the sky. If it gets too scary, just simply take the feet back to the wall. Again, once the feet are on the wall, you can let the hands come down. And then with control, start to roll the spine down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Again, just straightening the legs, finding that lovely hamstring stretch. Arms come out to the sides. You're going to bend your knees and you're going to walk, 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 walk the feet to the right. Your left shoulder might lift. Look to the left. Press the left shoulder down. Left knee might lift. And then just work here on keeping that left shoulder pressing down and really trying to get the left knee on top of the right. Doesn't matter if they touch, but just have that sort of sensation. Wall supine is a little bit more intense. This is because the feet are against the wall and your knees are actually up higher than the navel. So you're kind of coming into a deeper twist here. And then just start to walk, walk, walk those feet back up. You can straighten the legs again, kind of center the spine. You might need to push the butt into the wall a little bit if you kind of cruised a little too close. And then bend those knees. Walking, walking, walking to the left. This time, let your right ear soften to your right shoulder. Again, don't worry if that right knee isn't touching. Most important thing is that the right shoulder is pressing down. And then you can ease that right knee, right hip over to the left, using the breath to get you there. And then again, walk, 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 walk yourself back up, straighten out the spine. Arms can stay out to the side, or if you want to bring them slightly closer to the body, go for it. Let the toes flop out naturally and just close the eyes. So we're just going to take a wall shavasana, letting the leg bones stack above the hips, back of the spine heavy, hips heavy. And just close the eyes. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Wiggle the toes. And in your own time, you're going to just roll to one side or the other. And you're going to eventually come up to a seated position and just let your back rest against the wall. If you can, keep your eyes closed, but don't worry if you need to open them to get yourself there. Just noticing how you're feeling. Noticing the gentle pace of the breath. Just gently press the back of the head into the wall, stretching the crown of the head up to the sky, slight tuck of the chin. And then pressing the backs of the hands into the wall. We're going to take an inhale, bringing the arms high, trying to keep the hands connected until you bring the palms to touch. And then dropping the thumbs to the space between the brow for kindness and thoughts, to the lips for kindness and words, and then to heart center for you to carry kindness, compassion, and action through the rest of your day. Opening the eyes. Well done. Namaste. Well done, guys. Sorry about Hudson coming in as a wild man in that Shavasana.